Sarah Morgan thought the worst marriage of her life was already behind her. Years ago, she stood in court and defended her own husband, Adam Morgan, against a murder charge tied to his lover. The case was public, brutal, and impossible to separate from her name. Sarah was not simply the wife watching from the sidelines. She was the attorney standing in front of the room, shaping the defense, carrying the pressure, and trying to survive a trial that turned her private life into something everyone felt entitled to judge. Adam walked free, the case ended, and eventually the headlines faded. At least, that is what Sarah needed to believe. After the trial, she stepped away from the life that had nearly consumed her. The courtroom, the scandal, the whispers, and the version of herself that had survived under public attention all became part of a past she tried to leave behind. With enough distance, even the worst chapter can start to feel manageable. Then, Bob Miller entered her life. With him, the future looked quieter and more stable. Sarah changed careers, built a family, and created a life that seemed separate from everything Adam had left behind. From the outside, it looked calm, controlled, and carefully rebuilt. But calm is not always the same as safe. Sometimes, peace is only the surface of something that has not finished breaking. In The Perfect Divorce by Jeneva Rose, Sarah's second life begins to crack through a familiar kind of betrayal. She discovers that Bob has been unfaithful, and the decision comes fast. There is no long emotional negotiation, no attempt to make betrayal look acceptable, and no need to pretend the marriage can still be repaired. Sarah files for divorce, and at first, the situation seems painful but ordinary. Bob cheats, Sarah finds out, and the life they built begins to fall apart. Ugly, yes. Complicated, yes. But still familiar enough to understand. Then the story turns darker. The woman Bob was seeing is reported missing, and suddenly the divorce is no longer the center of the problem. Bob is not only the husband who betrayed her, he becomes a suspect. Sarah finds herself standing in a place that feels dangerously close to the life she thought she had escaped. A man connected to her, a woman gone. An investigation moving toward her name. That is where the pressure starts to build. Divorce already brings out the worst in people. Pride gets involved. Money becomes pressure. Reputation starts to matter. Once the police begin asking questions, every private argument can take on a different meaning. A phone call can look suspicious. Silence can sound calculated. One lie can change the shape of everything around it. Sarah wanted to leave a broken marriage, but the divorce pulls her into another public nightmare. The past returns. New DNA evidence appears in Adam's old case, the same case Sarah believed was finished. Police reopen the investigation, and the old questions come back with new force. What really happened 11 years ago? Was the truth ever fully understood? Did Sarah defend an innocent man? Or did the past leave something behind that nobody was ready to face? Now, the pressure comes from both sides of her life. Bob's affair has become part of a missing woman case, while Adam's old investigation is alive again. Sarah stands between two marriages, two scandals, and two stories that refuse to stay separate. That is what gives this thriller its sharpest pull. The book is not only asking whether Bob is guilty, and it is not only asking whether Adam's case was truly closed. The deeper tension is the pattern. Why does the same kind of darkness keep finding Sarah Morgan? Maybe she trusted the wrong men. Maybe the people around her are more dangerous than they appear. The truth is too complicated for one clean answer. The title sounds elegant, almost controlled. The Perfect Divorce suggests lawyers, paperwork, and two people ending a marriage without destroying everything around them. Nothing here feels clean. Bob's betrayal opens one door. The missing woman opens another. The DNA evidence brings back a past Sarah thought she had buried. As the pressure builds, trust becomes harder to place. Everyone has something to protect, and every version of the story feels incomplete. Sarah is not helpless inside this situation, which makes her even more interesting. Her legal mind understands pressure. Public perception is not new to her. Facts can be arranged, stories can be shaped, and people can survive by controlling what others believe. That makes Sarah fascinating, but it also makes her difficult to read. Is she protecting herself from another scandal? Is the truth closing in around her? Or does Sarah Morgan understand this room better than anyone else? The Perfect Divorce is built for readers who like domestic thrillers with legal pressure, fractured marriages, missing women, public suspicion, and characters who never feel completely safe to trust. The danger does not need a haunted house or a stranger outside the window. Here, danger comes from marriage, reputation, the person sitting across the table, and the secrets people carry into the lives they claim are new. Readers looking for a slow, quiet mystery may want something softer. But if you like fast domestic suspense, messy relationships, legal tension, and a past that refuses to stay buried, this setup has exactly the kind of pull that keeps you watching. Because the real mystery is not only what happened to the missing woman. It is not only what the DNA might prove. It is not only whether Bob or Adam is telling the truth. The deeper question is Sarah. Sarah Morgan didn't get the kind of ending people usually expect. No clean resolution. No clear line between past and present. Just a life that keeps folding back into itself. What she built and what she tried to escape, starting to feel like the same place again. And some stories don't really end. They just circle back.